So this happened around 2008, 2009 area, 08, 09. And it it was night. It was like one. It was between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning when this happened. Now, what happened is me and my buddy was at a bar shooting pool, and when we were done shooting pool, we left. We went to the corner store and then going home. Um, and like I said, I don't remember what he went to get. He wanted to get something from the store. I don't remember what it was, but it's kind of irrelevant. So we go to the AMPM. For you guys who live like on the East Coast or whatever, AMPM is a corner store, like a 7-Eleven. Okay. Um, I didn't realize AMPMs weren't everywhere until I told some of this story on Hank Strange, and he was like, "AMPM, like what is that?" So AMPM is a corner store, which almost always has a gas. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen an AMPM without a gas station. So it's a corner store gas station deal. Okay, so between 1 and 2 o'clock, um, me and my buddy pull up to the corner store to the AMPM. He gets out, he goes into the store. And when he goes into the store, I'm just in the car and I'm on the phone actually. I'm on the phone talking to um, a lady friend of mine at the time. And the thing with me is I don't care what I'm doing. If I'm on the phone, okay, I can be on the phone, and even if I'm on the phone, I'm still, people claim their heads on a swivel. Mine really is like like anyone who knows me will tell you this, okay? Some people think that I'm even like too much. Like, dude, you're just way too much on edge. I don't feel that way. I feel so relaxed. It's just a natural thing I do. Natural. And I was taught this at a young age, and we'll get into that later. So I'm on the phone, but I'm swinging. And on one of my left turns, this was maybe, I don't know, this was maybe 20 seconds after my buddy got out the car and went in the store. Okay. So I looked to my left, and two parking spots to my left, there's a Jeep parked the same way I'm parked, right? So I'm parked looking at the store. I'm parked much closer to like where the door is at. But there's a Jeep. I guess it's the store owner's vehicle. I'm assuming, unless somebody's car broke down. But there's a Jeep 2 car spots to my left, parked forward like I am. Behind the Jeep, there's a guy standing behind the Jeep, and he's got his shoulder up against the Jeep, and he's doing this. Right? That's what he's doing. So clearly that's wrong, right? So like alert, alert, like what is this guy doing? So very quickly I'm like, hey, look, I got to call you back. And I hang up the phone. Two things I do. Now, the first thing that let me explain this too. At this time, I did not carry with one in the chamber. I was fairly new to carrying Glocks at this time. I carried a lot of other guns, and most of the guns that I carried had an external safety. I was new to Glocks. I didn't understand to a T the mechanics of Glocks, so I didn't trust carrying with one in the chamber. So, and plus I just kind of got used to that. And so when I seen this guy doing that, I'm like, okay, gun, right? Gun, number one. Number two, though, I don't want to shoot through glass at all. Like, I need straight shots. I don't need anything throwing my rounds off or anything. So there's two things I did at the same time. I hit my window to drop all the way down, and as soon as I hit that, I grabbed my gun and I racked it. Now, what's going on over here as this is happening is as the guy is, got his shoulder and he's looking around, when I hit the window down, he seen me looking at him. Okay, so he's doing this little peeking thing, and then the window goes down, and now his attention's on me. So as the window goes down, he then stops, like he was focused into that store. Now he's focused on me. So he's got a hoodie on with a hood, and his hands are inside his hoodie pocket. And so as soon as he sees me, sees the window going down and sees me looking at him, he starts walking towards me, and he's walking towards me doing this. So he's got something in his hand, and as he's walking towards me, he's doing this, and I see something black back here. Okay. Now, to this day, I can't say for 100% fact it was a gun, but after I'm done telling you the story, it's the damn gun. But really, hell, it could have been a knife. Like, I just seen black back here. That's all I seen. So anyhow, he's walking towards me doing this. I see the black back there. And like I said, the window's going down. I grab the gun and I rack it. And as I rack it, the gun is up. I did all that. I grabbed my gun, racked it. Hell, I hit the window, grabbed my gun, racked it before he was able to pull his gun out of his hoodie. Now, the only reason why I'm there's an emphasis on this part right here is because some people fail to understand why it's important to carry with a round in the chamber. A lot of people seem to think that it has everything to do with you won't have enough time and you're going to die. That's not usually the case. Like, realistically, you usually have a lot of time in most cases. When you see a situation where it's just boom right there, that's because they were not aware of what was going on prior. And then it looks like it pops up on them, but it didn't. There were signs. Okay. When you're extremely aware, you can see stuff happening. You can see the buildup. Okay. Now, I'm not saying 100% of the time. I'm saying most of the time, like most of the time, you can see it happening if you're aware. Now, I didn't have a round in the chamber, yet I'm still alive. Everybody, I'm supposed to be dead, right? Based on how everyone, breaks this down, I'm supposed to be dead because I didn't have a round in the chamber, but I'm here. So he does this, racked, and now I got the gun right here at the window where, like, I don't have it way up, but I have it to where I'm definitely going to shoot over the window, but I kind of have it down a little bit. And he stopped and put his arm, like, he stopped right there, and he goes, are you strapped? This is, God is my witness. This is what happened. He goes, are you strapped? And I said, you damn right I'm strapped. And just kind of, like he's confused at what to do now. Like, what do I do now? Type of a thing. So I immediately start giving commands though. So I'm like, hey, listen, do not pull your hands out of your pocket or I will kill you. Stand over there. No, to the right. 3 steps. Stop right there. Do not move. Stay right there. If you take your hands out of your pockets, I will shoot you. I swear to God, I'll shoot you. And so he's just standing there. My gun's there. Now, while I got him at gunpoint, I'm waiting for my friend to come out and just kind of figure out what do I, what do I do next? But in that situation, I can't tell you how fast my mind is flying, the adrenaline, the just everything you can name, like it's all there. Okay, it's all there. So very quickly, like there wasn't much pause. Okay, so as he's standing there and I have the gun on him, maybe 5 to 10 seconds later, I said, what are you trying to do? Rob the store? Right? Like I've learned, I'll get to that later. I'll get to this point later. Let me just tell the story. I'm like, what are you trying to do? Rob the store? And he goes, yeah. Swear to God. Like he told me, yes. Okay. So then I go, okay. And I'm like, it's not a very good idea, man. But let me tell you this. My best friend's in that store. So what you plan on doing, that's not happening. And he says, that's who I want. Listen, like I said, this video, I told this story before. You can go back and listen to it. Compare videos if you like. This is the God honest truth. He said, that's who I want. And I'm baffled, like to the point where I'm going, I said, what? And I go, what do you mean that's who you want? You want to rob my friend? And he goes, he didn't say yes. He went like that. And I'm like, what? So now I know he's high. Okay. Like there's no way you're like, who's that weird? You know what I'm saying? Like this guy's got to be high out of his mind. Probably high off PCP. Okay. So I'm like, he's like, that's who I want. And I'm like, my friend is like, and I'm like, listen, bro, that's not happening. Okay. That's not happening. And as I say that, I don't know if he got agitated from what I'm saying or what, but it's like he wanted to go for it, I guess, right? So he's getting ready to like just go for it. He looks at me and he takes a step forward and his arm starts. And now at this point, and I had the Glock 17 was the gun I had, by the way. At this point now, I have gun up, like it was like this. Now it's like this, like out the window, right? And because he's starting to move like he's going to do it anyway. And so, I point the gun, punch out the window. And I said, do not move. Do not pull your hands out of your pockets. I will put a hole in you. I will kill you. I swear to God, I will kill you. Do not take your hands out of your pockets. Do not move anywhere. Don't take another step. So he stops, like, Ongle's, back in his pocket. He takes that one step back and he stays there. And guns out the window. So now my buddy comes out the store. So when he comes out the store, another guy comes out the store right behind him. Now, here's what's going on with my buddy. He goes in the store to buy whatever. I don't remember what it was. But when he gets to the counter, there's a guy behind him, right? In line, waiting for him to be done. So my buddy pays for his stuff with cash. When he's done paying, he grabs his stuff and he walks out. The guy who was in line, waiting in line behind him, did not buy anything. He just walked out the store with him. You understand? Like, imagine that, right? You're paying. There's somebody waiting in line to pay for whatever. And as you walk out, they don't stop and say, "Hey, you got cigarettes?" No. Okay, bye. And it was none of that. It's my buddy grabs his stuff. Everything's done. My buddy walks out. The guy walks right behind him out of the store. So when he walks out the store, he sees the guy that I have at gunpoint. He sees that guy. He sees that this guy just walked out behind him without buying anything. And he got it that fast. That fast. As soon as he walked out, he looked behind like, well, looked at that guy and he goes, Eugene, watch it. It's a robbery. He doesn't see that I have the gun on him already, right? On the other guy. So he's looking at this guy like, he's not really worried about him as far as like, because this guy is really small and skinny. But the guy that I got the gun on, this is a big guy. He looked like he was maybe, when I say big, I'm short. So it looked like he was maybe, I don't know, 6'2" to 6'3", with size on him. And tattoos all up his neck. I remember that very vividly for some reason. So anyway, so my buddy yells that out, watch it. And he doesn't see that I have the gun on the guy. So my buddy hurry up and gets in the car. He keeps going. He's like, Eugene, what they're trying to get us. And then he sees that, and I'm like, bro, I got it. And then he sees that I got the gun out the window, right? So as my buddy gets in the vehicle, the dude looks at his friend. His friend gives him the yes. Okay, so the guy that walked out of the store behind my buddy looks at the guy that I have at gunpoint and gives him the yes. So he doesn't see that I have a gun on his friend. Okay, so he gives him the nod. And that guy is not moving. So this guy's like, go, like, yes, go. What are you doing? So he really feels the pressure to push through anyway. And so, gun out the window, and I see that he's trying to build up the confidence. Because see, what he does is he takes that step forward again, okay? And he doesn't do this, but he takes a step forward. And I said, I will kill you. I'll kill you. Don't do it. Don't do it. And he went just like this. He does his neck like that. And he kind of does this like bounce, right? He stands up and does this bounce and doing this. while he's doing the bounce, like he's getting ready, like he's pumping himself up to just go through with it. And so as he's doing that, I'm like, oh, he's gonna do it anyway. I am scared to death. I take the slack out of the trigger. I'm on the wall. I am aimed dead at his heart. I have fear in me that is unbelievable. Because if he decides to do this, this is not the movies. Okay? If he decides to do this, his action at best, I match him. Even with the gun out, slack out, at best, look. That's fast, man. Like, this is real life. Like, he's just standing there looking, my gun's on him, and he... There's no way I'm going to shoot him to where it stops his shot. Like, he's gonna get this shot off. Okay, that's real life. That's the reality of it. Unless I get lucky and he gets caught up as he's trying to come out, right? Or the gun malfunctions, or he doesn't have a round in the chamber and he has to rack it, something like that. Outside of that, this is going to be a at the same time shooting type situation. His hand is quicker than my eye. That's reality. That's science. So I'm scared to death. So I'm doing more talking. As he's doing this, I'm going, all right, you're about to die. Go ahead. You're about to die. I promise you, you're going to die. I'm about to put a bullet straight through your face. You know, like, I'm talking crazy because I have to. Like, I'm talking like greasy. Like I'm talking as hard as I can because I'm trying to talk him out. Like, I want him to truly believe and understand that he is going to die at this attempt. Now, is it worth it? You know what I mean? So that's what's going on now. I'm giving him the verbal. I'm all the way, punched out, and I'm gonna put this bullet straight through your face. I promise you, you're not living. Don't do this. Don't do this. You're gonna die. I promise you, you're not gonna win. All that's coming out. And when he does the jump and that, he goes, fuck it. And right when he said that, I thought he was going to do it. And I mean, I'm on that wall, but I am perfectly still. I am perfectly aware of everything around me. I am in a zone like you wouldn't believe. He goes, fuck it. And I'm like, here it goes. And now I'm just kind of looking for that body movement, that shoulder, that elbow. I'm just looking for anything, because if that happens, I'm shooting. If he does that, I'm shooting. I don't care what's in his hand. Whatever it is, I have to. So, or else I'm gonna die. Or just the possibility, like, he's showing all the signs of he has a gun. He said he's gonna rob my buddy. Like, he said it. All right. So when he says that, I'm ready, and instead he just turns around and walks off. And his buddy, like, kind of picks up his pace catch up to him. And, I'm sure they went back and had their discussion. I know basically about what they talked about, and I'll explain that in just a moment. So now I'm afraid of having my back to this guy. So what I do is, my buddy actually put the car in reverse. He put it in reverse, and I start going backwards, and I was going to go in his direction. Like, I was going to turn back this way and then drive in the direction, the exit that he's walking out of. I'm going to go that way. I was afraid of going away, having my back to him. I felt so vulnerable driving away from him, because I felt like he can just shoot at me, behind, through the window, back of my head. I have no offense. I can't shoot back. Offense or defense. I can't shoot back. So my first reaction was to go in his direction. And as I get ready to do that, my buddy goes, no, 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 no. Don't go their way. Go that way. And it was so hard to listen to him, but I did. Like, it went against all my natural, reaction, reflexes, whatever, what I really wanted to do. I had to go against it, because this is my best friend, and we've been best friends since we were 10 years old. So, like, the trust that we have in each other, like, we speak the same language. You know what I'm saying? So in that moment, I knew that I think he's thinking clearer than me. Right? And I'm aware of that. And so I went with him. I went with what he said. And I'm like, God, I don't want to do that. But I think he's thinking clearer than me. And so I put it back in drive, and I went out the way that he said. And my goodness, that fear of driving away and having him to my back was crazy. Now, we drive out of the parking lot, and, we're heading towards home. And my God, my adrenaline didn't come down for, I don't know, man, between 30 minutes to an hour. Like, my adrenaline was going for, in fact, the fear of the fight didn't go away until I was like, I don't know, like 5-6 blocks away. And then it was kind of like, I could breathe. And then it was like, yo, what just happened? What the hell? Like, and we had that conversation. So let me explain what was going on with the bad guys. Okay. What they're doing is, it's between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. So their goal is to find the person that comes in the store that has cash. If they pay with the card, no go. Right? So when somebody walks in the store, you got two guys. One guy on this side of the store, one guy on the opposite side of the store, like the two opposite corners. Like, there's the entrance, and then there's the corner on one side and a corner on the other side, right, of the building from the entrance. So the guy I was dealing with was to the left, he was to the right. So when my buddy goes in the store, that guy from this side goes in the store as well. He goes in and he pretends that he's buying something, really just paying attention to my buddy. When my buddy gets to he sees he's going to the cash register, he goes to the cash register. When my buddy goes to pay for whatever he bought, he's paying attention if he's paying with card or cash. My buddy pays with cash. So as he walks out, the guy walks right back out with him, looks at his other guy and goes, he's got cash. It's a yes, it's a go, rob him. But when his buddy's not doing it, he's like, dude, what are you doing? Rob him, go, he's got cash. I said, yes. and the guy's still not doing it. And so he's like, what's wrong with it? What are you doing? So when his buddy turns around and walks off, he goes, fuck it, and turns around and walks off, he's thinking his buddy cowered it out, or he didn't know I had a gun on his friend. So he's thinking his friend just like chickened out or changed his mind or whatever the case. And so he, skips kind of quick to catch up to him. And I'm sure the conversation was like, dude, what the hell? Why'd you chicken out? We need this money. We need these drugs, whatever you know what I mean? Whatever they were trying to rob people for, which is usually drugs. I'm sure he told him like, dude, he had a gun on me. The guy had a gun on me, like pointed at me out the window. I couldn't do anything. If I'd have tried, it shot me, So when people talk about carrying without a round in the chamber, blah, 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 you hear things like, that's like being able to put your seatbelt on right before a wreck. That's not the same. Or if you carry with the round and without a round in the chamber, you might as well just be carrying a rock or a brick. You hear all these things. That's not accurate. Like that's not accurate. That's not reality. It's still better than nothing by far. Okay, because if your awareness is up, you have 0.3 extra seconds. Again, if you think that every time something's about to happen, you're never going to have 0.3 extra seconds. Like, put it like this. If my draw speed is 1 second, add the rack 0.3, 0.4 seconds. So now we're at 1.4 second draw stroke. Okay, draw, rack, fire. Okay, 1.4 seconds. Most of you guys, all right, most people out there, they're draw like under stress, like their draw and punch out is probably like 2 seconds. Like there's a lot of videos on even active self-protection. You can see people's draw speed. A lot of people's draw speed is very slow.
Now then, for speed from that signal, if our good guy had had a 1 second draw to first shot, this is what he would have been looking at. His bad guy there at this point has the gun down at his side, and he's presenting a full-on, full-value target to him from a very close environment. So this is why we talk about having a rocket-fast draw to first shot, especially if you carry appendix. A 1 second draw to first shot is conceivable, is usable, is good to have, because again, he would have had a much better shot without the danger of the guy having the gun pointed at him. Now, as we continue to move forward at 1.5 seconds, if he'd have had the gun out and going at 1.5 seconds, then yes, the guy would have had his gun up, but notice he is coming directly towards him, and our good guy who is moving back and quartering hasn't really got a lot of momentum, so it's still a fairly stationary target, and the bad guy has not gotten the gun up. So if you don't have a 1.0 draw to first shot, a 1.5 is our professional standard, and he would have had a much easier shot on this guy. But I'm going to slow this last one down. He had about a 1.7 second draw to first shot, and because of that, when the shot breaks, you notice that our good guy is moving away, backwards and to his right. He's moving on the diagonal. Our bad guy is actually moving laterally as well, has the gun up, and is somewhat quartered. So the longer draw to first shot gave him a harder target while he's moving and the bad guy more time. Now, he certainly met the standard of a concealed carrier, which is less than 2 seconds draw to first shot, and he was out and got a shot off at 1.7. So good for him on that, but that's why we say that the draw to first shot is so important and having it fast is important.
So my draw speed faster than this guy who's got a round in the chamber, but yet his draw speed is 2 seconds, or maybe it's 1.7 seconds, right? Mine is total 1.3, 1.4 seconds. It's not about speed, because I can beat a lot of people even with racking. Like draw a rack, I can beat a lot of people. It's not about speed. It's about the fact that you may not be able to rack the gun, period. This is why you have to work up to carrying with the round in the chamber. You have to. You cannot just be stuck on carrying without a round in the chamber. Why? Maybe you don't encounter a situation where these things happen. Maybe you get lucky. But I'll give you an example. Let's say you're walking down the street and some loose, rabid pit bull comes running at you and grabs your arm. Now he's got your arm. Yeah, you can get to your gun. You can't rack it now. He has your arm. You may not have the ability to rack the gun. Now, yes, there are techniques of racking off your, belt, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't always work. It depends on what you're wearing. Depends on your gun. Depends on a lot of stuff. And with a dog yanking and turning and twisting and shaking, you might not be able to get that done. Okay? Give you another example. This actually happened. Buddy of mine, it was a case of mistaken identity. An associate of mine, let me say that. Where someone, he was at a gas station. Guy rolls up, no hesitation, hits him with a 12 gauge. Boom. Hits him with a 12 gauge in his arm. His arm is now out of commission. He was able to take his other hand, grab his gun, and shoot back. Let's just say the truth is he won that situation. We'll just leave it at that. But he did not have the ability to rack the gun. You understand? You may not have the ability to rack the gun. What if here's another situation. You might be in a scenario where like the bad guy doesn't know that you're in the store or you're in this area, and you pull your gun out and now you got to put a round in the chamber. Let me tell you something. You can try and do that as quiet as you want, but that is loud. Like, especially at night, like nighttime, 12 o'clock, you try and slowly put a round in the chamber, it's going to make that noise. You can't stop it. That it's gonna make the noise. Now he knows where you're at as you're trying to do this. So you need to keep a round in the chamber because of the possibility you might not be able to put a round in the chamber when this happens. Speed is not the big reason. Sure, it can add this 0.3 seconds. And in this 0.3 seconds, now you lose. You were in a bad situation. That sucks. That's horrible. But again, that all depends on the person. This person might be able to do it in 1.2 seconds, while your normal draw it around in the chamber is 1.6 seconds. So now what is this negative in speed and time with having it? It has nothing to do with that. You can train to that speed. That's not a problem. You may not have the ability to rack. That is the problem. That is the reason why you need to carry with a round in the chamber at all times.